and welcome to the Postmodern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. I am your host, Aiden Ragland, and for today's episode, well, I believe we should be hyperfixated on this sensational artist, considering that their hyperfixations has led to some outstanding artwork to say the least. Today's guest is Fae Space Critter, a self-proclaimed enthusiast drawer and professional shitposter whose rabid fandom has created sensational artwork. Fae Space Critter was someone that I became aware of thanks to actually the Senior Pillow episode. I was looking for a thumbnail artist for it, and so in order to figure out who I wanted to do it, I looked at other Spooky Month fan art. And Fae's was one that kind of struck me instantly with how well he was able to recreate their likeness. But then diving deep into his other artwork, whether it be for fandoms or his own little creature that we'll definitely be talking about, let's just say it would be a disservice if I did not bring him on to talk about how these hyperfixations has led to such amazing artwork. If you enjoy our wonderful guest for today, make sure you support him with the links down in the description below. If you enjoy the podcast, make sure you like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. Leave 5 stars wherever you can. You know I see that stuff, and you know I absolutely enjoy it. If you want to go a little further with that support, may I recommend checking out the incredible merch shop on fourthwall.com, with the links to that being in the description below. We have some outstanding pieces of streetwear that you would look absolutely sensational in, especially the brand new shoes that we have on that shop, with several incredible art on it from former guests that, again, you gotta rock these sick kicks. But now, without further ado, please enjoy the Postmodern Art Podcast. How are you doing today?
Oh boy, I'm doing great actually.
Good.
I've been excited for this.
Good. I mean, thank you for doing it on such short notice, but regardless, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I mean, great, you did have a bit of a heads up whenever I initially asked you to do the thumbnail, and I said I'd love to have you on the podcast at some point, but regardless, yeah. I know it's still kind of a, hey, you cool for this Saturday? Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, it was a good thing I didn't have anything going on in my life ever, so.
Don't say it like that.
Okay, I'm gonna lie from now on.
Still, thank you so much.
Yeah, also I do apologize if there's like audio from like background or something. There is life around me, even though it should be night, but nobody is sleeping.
I will also apologize for that on my end because it's the middle of the day. We have like we have like 4 dogs that live here, and currently I'm the only human in the house because my stepmom went to a baby shower and my dad's going to get paint for a back room. So don't be surprised if you hear barking whenever he comes home. So.
Okay, I will not be. Now if I hear barking it's okay, it's just a dog.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to hope it's a dog, at least on my end.
Yeah. That's the concern you always have. You like hear the barking, but you can't be sure like what is making that noise.
Right. No, it's
I might also have a cat because I have a cat and he is loud. He makes his presence known whenever he wakes up. So
I get that. I get that mentality. I get that vibe. I completely understand. I'll say, yeah. push good the shove. If there's too much chaos, we could just pause for a second. I could edit that bit out or whatnot. Like, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's a reason why this is recorded and not live streamed. Okay, like.
Yeah, it's that makes everything so much easier. Honestly, so much less chaos.
I mean, there's only so much chaos that you can control in your little square space of a room, and even then, who knows what goes on in here.
Through that, you don't know what goes on behind the computer.
Exactly. I mean, I can show you what goes on. End. I can show you what goes on behind the computer, but it's a complete mess, and I feel ashamed of myself. So,
I mean, why should you embrace it? Be free, be cringe.
I mean, yes. I host an art podcast, for God's sakes. Is that not cringe enough? I mean,
I feel like you could still be more. You can still push it further.
There's always room for improvement.
Yeah. That's what we're here on this earth for. We're here to grow
I,
and max out our stats.
I said I feel like that's just your mission statement in life. Just max out on cringe.
Yeah, exactly. Life isn't about making money or like raising kids. It's all about maxing out your cringe.
Maxing out your. I am so tempted to just go ahead and make that the title of this episode, like
Yes, do it.
just max out on cringe. And
Yes.
it reminds me, I definitely need to leave this part in, which leads me to another point. I have been recording this little intro bit. Are you fine with me including bits of this as part of like lead into the podcast itself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Then whenever I do name this max out on cringe, people have the context of it.
Hell yeah. That's gonna be perfect.
Exactly. Before we do get started, I just have one thing that I do want to ask. How do you want me to address you? Because I was gonna at least because I have like a little intro and whatnot, and I was gonna address you as Fae Space Critter and then Fae throughout the rest of the podcast. But if there's a thing you prefer, I'd call you instead. You can let me know now. I can write it down.
The funny thing is I never really thought about how people would address me when I came up with the name Fae Space Critter, and everybody just calls me Fae, and I'm like, oh, I guess that's my name now.
I mean, it's a good, simple, easy to remember. I mean, it's the first little bit. I mean, for God's sakes,
Yeah.
I didn't have like for the longest time. I always like just addressed myself as my name, Nathan Ragland, which I will at the intro of the podcast, and whatnot. But ever since I've really been on like Discord, people have just called me Post because literally like the first name of my little Discord name is Post because Post Modern Art Podcast,
Yeah.
Post Mod Art Pod. So people just call me Post.
I saw people calling you Post. I just thought that was your nickname.
It's one of those like it started off as like just a Discord thing, and now it's just basically my nickname. Like a lot of people just call me Post, and I've embraced it as my nickname. Okay, like it's better than some of the nicknames I've had in the past. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, that's true. Faye is definitely a better nickname than one I had at school. So I'll give it that.
I'll tell you what. I'll divulge a little bit into me for a second. So when I was in high school, I decided to play, football, American football for a little bit. And my freshman year obviously the 1 year I played, we were doing like a summer like boot camp training thing or whatnot. And the coach told us one time, because I was on like, they told us whenever we play football, we don't play cheap, we don't play dirty, we play nasty. Like that's how that's that mentality that they wanted us to have. And so later that evening we were doing like a little practice game, and I was subbed in, and that same coach was out there, and he asked, "What are we?" Everyone else, they went with like what they like the school name basically, or like the initials of the county, which is OC, like because that was kind of like the little mini chant that we had going into you. Who are we? OC, that kind of thing. I was the only one when that same coach asked me that question that said nasty, and everyone just started calling me nasty from then on out.
God damn. Well, I know who you guys are, but I'm nasty.
It's like, hey yo, it's Nasty Nate. What's up, dog?
That is such a that's such a school mentality though. Like they cling on to that one thing you do for the rest of your life.
I mean, then again, that's how I technically got the nickname Post, because
Yeah. Yeah.
Goodness. So I assume just Fae or Fae Space Critter is a good way to address you.
Yeah, Faye's good.
Okay.
I mean, you could also call me Creature. That's like the name of my avatar thing. It's alien thing. I don't know what that is. But I call them Creature.
Yeah, I mean and correct me if I'm wrong. It's spelled basically like creatire, right? Like it said
Creatire, yeah.
Because I saw that again as I was digging through stuff. I saw the rare first appearance of the creature. So
yeah. Ah, yes, the creature in the wild. And here we see the magnificent creature.
Ah, la criatura.
La criatura. God damn it.
All right, Faye, before we really get going, I must ask the icebreaker question of the podcast, if I may. Let's say
let's do it.
Let's say you get to go to a desert island on your own accord. It's just you alone with your thoughts. You get to kick back, relax, breathe, truly enjoy yourself for a little bit. With accommodations, you're not stranded. This isn't like we're shipping you off to this island and excommunication or whatnot. This is your own little personal paradise more than anything else. To help make sure you don't go further insane on this island, you can bring one piece of media or one piece of art with you to help with whatever kind of headspace you want on this little paradise. If given this opportunity, what would that one piece be?
Um, I mean, I guess I would probably like in that situation, I'd probably not want to think about how I'm like all alone in a deserted island. Well, not deserted, but still all alone.
Like I said,
And that kind of like,
it's a little personal paradise. So I mean, you make it feel
yeah,
as homey as you want. So
yeah. I mean, it's like introvert's dream, but at the same time, uh, the loneliness does like start to creep in. So at some point, I feel like I would want to like take my mind off of the whole like deserted island thing. So I think I'm gonna like maybe bring like a Nintendo DS with a
ooh.
copy of Sims Castaway on it so that I can just, have something to play on, something to like. I, I need a good I need a good excuse to play video games. Honestly, I always feel guilty about it, so I think that that would be perfect. And I wanted to try Sims Castaway, so
Oh wait, have you never played Sims Castaway?
nope,
Oh wow,
not yet.
so, so you just happen to think of the perfect game for your perfect little castaway situation.
Yes.
I mean, you know what?
Wait,
That's
hold on. Is that a real game?
you know what? I'm not sure, but I'm not gonna question it. I'll put it like that. I'm just gonna imagine that there is, or at least like a little island paradise. There's gotta be like an island paradise variation of The Sims or something like that. You know?
There's gotta be. I mean, The Sims is a massive franchise. There's like a medieval freaking version of Sims.
Yeah.
Probably something about vampires. Oh wait, that's an expansion pack, I think. God, yeah, this Sims is massive.
Yeah,
Is my
no,
point.
Sims is insane. But I mean, still, like, even then, like, first off, I don't think I've had anyone mention that they would bring specifically a Nintendo DS, which is like, I'm surprised because that was like one of like the coolest, one of the greatest like handheld systems ever. Like, I think just about everyone had one at some point, you know?
Yeah, except for me. That's why I want to bring it with me on this one.
Oh, okay. So you're just making this like you're not only making this
I
like
mean,
your
if
own
we're
personal.
making
I was gonna say you're not only
like
making this
my
like your
first,
own personal paradise or whatnot. You're making this kind of like I'm living out the dreams I've always wanted.
yeah, yeah, pretty much, yeah. But I only get to choose one thing, so I had to like go with that.
Okay, but regardless, like nevertheless, Nintendo DS with the possible real or fake game of Sims Castaway. That's your answer. You're locking that in.
Yeah, that's my answer.
Then if
I'm
that's
set on that.
good, I'm glad you're saying on that because if that's the case, I cannot think of a better way to start the Postmodern Art Podcast. Welcome, everyone. I am your host, Nathan Ragland. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. You can look incredible in some brand new merch on the Fourth Wall Shop, including some stylish new shoes. Get it today. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok at PostmodArtPod for future updates and guest announcements, including today's guest. He is a self-proclaimed enthusiast drawer and professional shitposter whose rabid fandom inspires sensational work. Welcome to the podcast, Fae Space Critter.
I Holy shit, that was the best introduction that anyone could have given me.
Well, of course. I mean, I'm
Thank
not.
you.
I got some inspiration from your Twitter, of course. Whenever you literally put up there enthusiast drawer and professional shit poster, but like,
Yeah.
I always like to give the good pomp and circumstance to my guests, regardless. Which leads obviously to the next question: how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, doing lovely, honestly. This has been the thing that I've been looking forward to all of the however many days it's been since you invited me here.
I mean, regardless, I knew I wanted to have you on for at least a good while now. Ever since you did a sensational job doing the thumbnail for the Senior Palo episode, which I cannot thank you enough for doing that. Seriously, you did a phenomenal job then, and I still absolutely love that piece. And obviously, it led me down the rabbit hole of realizing who you are as an artist or whatnot. That's why I definitely wanted to have you on here. But before we really divulge to the stuff you're doing nowadays, I want to go back just a little bit and learn more or less the origin story of, well, the creature. What got you interested in art in the first place?
Uh, I feel like it's always just been a thing that I was into. Like as a kid, it was one of the things that I would always do. Like every time that I have an opportunity, I would just like draw. That
Mm-hmm.
was like the thing that I wanted to do the most. There was a point in my life where my family like had to move from our original country to like a whole new place. I had nothing with me, and like the one thing that I was really like concerned with at the time is like I have nothing to draw on. My like I was
Oh wow.
like pestering my parents like I need papers, I need pens, I need something. You don't understand. This is keeping me sane. I'm in a new place. I need something to draw on. So it took me like a while to like really decide on like art as a career path. I think I had like a moment when I want to say like 10 probably is when I realized that I could be like a storyteller and I could be like a writer and I could just make my own cartoons. Like I really wanted there to be like a very specific type of cartoon.
Mm.
Quite frankly, it's kind of funny. I was into MLP at the time, and I saw a fan made sorry, can't speak.
You're good. You're
fan made.
good.
I my English is not good. I literally learned it yesterday. A fan made. So a fan-made animation with a scene from the show reanimated with the characters being humans, and for some reason that just like that struck something in my brain. I was like, oh my god, I wish there was like a whole show that is just like MLP, except instead of horses, they were humans. And then like inspiration struck. Why don't I just make a show like that? And
Ooh.
yeah, and ever since then I've just been like, oh, I would start my day always by like dreaming up these like cartoons that I'm going to like make one day. It's been like that ever since.
Okay.
And so I guess it's just my purpose on this planet, I suppose, is just to be an artist.
I mean, to be fair, like the fact that like even like as a young age, you were all just like, I need to draw, I need something to draw. Like that's a good foundation more than anything else. I'm curious though, because I know you kind of said that like it was the fan animation that kind of made it kind of click in your head that you want to do more than just like casually draw. You want to actually make it your career.
Hmm.
But I have to know, what was it about My Little Pony in particular that made you immediately be like, hi?
uh, I honestly, that's a funny question. I never thought about it that like that. I guess it was just one of my hyperfixations at the time, and I honestly have no idea how those work. They come and go, and it's always like a different period of my life will be like controlled by a certain hyperfixation I have. At some point, like before My Little Pony, it was Winx Club. After My Little Pony, it
Ooh.
was Gravity Falls. Yeah. And then after Gravity Falls, so I think it was like Undertale for a while. And like I've tried to like suss out a pattern, but I really can't really find one. It's always like something that just like I find a new thing and now it's like, okay, now it's my life now. I guess it's whatever speaks to me in the moment. I would say maybe MLP specifically stuck with me at the period of time where it did, maybe because of the whole theme with like friendship and like the magic of friendship and all that. Because uh, the stories I wrote as a kid and as a teen, they were all very like very I mean they still are, but like they used to be like self-indulgent in a different way. I was clearly going through stuff, but I didn't realize that I was just coping through art. And my first story, the one that I started writing as an inspiration from My Little Pony, it was literally just a ripoff of My Little Pony, to be honest, with the exception that instead of Twilight Sparkle, it was my self-insert character.
Oh.
Yeah, and everybody was just like, the character just had like this amazing magical life and all of these friends, and maybe it's just the kind of life I wanted at the moment. I did not have any magic, I did not have any super cool wings or any friends, so I suppose that's what I wanted. And
I'm
then
not trying to imagine what a space creature like Pony
hmm?
Sona would look like.
I honestly, I'm kind of tempted to draw that now.
Do it.
I gotta go
Do
back.
it.
Ah, yes. My little creature.
My little creature. There you go. I like it just.
That is their name, little creature too.
That is true. Little yeah, because your little being that you use to represent yourself, that is just you at this point. Yeah, I mean, my little creature would honestly just make perfect sense more than anything else.
Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't even bother coming up with a name for them. Just my little creature. That's what they are.
I mean, I think you were well, I mean, I think a friend influenced it, but you were a little creative with the whole entire, how you named it specifically with, replacing the U with an I, but that's a whole different story.
I'm not gonna, I can't actually take credit for that. That was a typo that a friend of mine made, and we both thought, oh, that actually works so well because it's kind of like a combo between creature and critter, so I just went with that.
Hey, that's good. We'll definitely talk a little bit more about the little creature in a minute, but I want to go back to the pony fixation, or just more or less like the hyperfixations real quickly, because like you initially said you were trying to find a thread between your hyperfixations, and like you're talking about My Little Pony, Gravity Falls, Undertale, Spooky Month has been a big one recently, as well as Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah,
I think the internet is just your hyperfixation. Whatever the internet is obsessed with, you become obsessed with. Am I wrong in assuming that?
Did you just diagnose me? I diagnose you with basic.
I mean, I'm not saying that in a negative way, because obviously I can imagine, especially for you growing up, the internet must have had like a huge influence on you and like your hyperfixations and your art as a whole.
Definitely, yeah. My most of my life happened on the internet, honestly. So I don't know what, I have never seen a real person ever since I was 9, so I don't even know what those look like.
Hello.
I mean, yeah, I see plenty of people with like pixels over them, but like I have never I haven't touched actually no, I'm lying. That it was like a few days ago, my sister came back from college. She like walked into my room. I looked over like, what the fuck is this? I can touch you. What are you?
You're not a simulation.
What is going on? This is not my safe space anymore.
How did you first become aware of the internet in the first place? I'm afraid to ask.
Oh God. I was sorry. There was just a flashback to something horrible there, but that's not how I. But that's not how I discovered the internet. It's just something that's connected to like it. My parents introduced me to the computer when I was little. I remember the first time I got to touch a computer. My mom was like sitting on like she was like working in some kind of program where you get to like draw little like, what are they called, snowflakes. It was basically like a program that allows you to like make these like patterns, and they look very symmetrical, and she showed me how to do that, and I got like immediately, that might have been one of my earliest hyperfixations. And ever since then my mom taught me how to use a computer, and after that she taught me she taught me that there are video games on the computer. And then after we moved to a new country, I had nothing to do. We didn't have a TV anymore, and I had no friends anymore. Not that I had any to begin with, but at that point, my parents allowed me to go on the computer and play online video games, and that's how I like started to get familiarized with the internet. I was 8. That's how I discovered porn. Let's not talk about that.
Oh no! Oh no! I am so sorry for young you.
Yeah, I'm more sorry that young me was like just confused at what he was watching, and then my mom like walks in on me and scolds me. I'm like, I don't even understand what's going on.
Why were the two people wrestling naked? What's going on?
Yeah, what are they doing? Why is she screaming so much?
Why is there a cup involved?
What is that white stuff? Why is he being white?
Oh God! Oh God! Oh no! I'm scared to know what your search history is like nowadays.
Sonato. It's mostly the Sonato.
Oh, Jesus. So after that gruesome introduction to the internet, now after that
Yeah.
interesting introduction to the internet, regardless, like I imagine, like I know you said the My Little Pony fanimation was the thing that kind of really took it to the next level. It almost also makes me interested. How important is the internet when it comes to like your art in a way? Like how much of an impact did it have on you wanting to actually go forth and make art?
I mean, it was present like ever since I figured out that you can post art online.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I need a burp.
You good?
Excuse me. A lot of air. I'm not used to talking this much. I don't speak to people, you see.
Oh come on!
uh,
I saw the 30 minutes of the spooky month, rambling or whatnot. Okay, like you can't say you had to talk this much.
okay, okay. Well, that wasn't 30 minutes in real time. Actually, it was 3 hours. But whatever.
Anyways,
Yeah, I am a liar. That's you don't. You're not supposed to believe me ever. Like, why
okay.
do you think? Why do you think my avatar doesn't wear pants? They burned off.
Oh,
Yeah. So, uh, I discovered that you could post art online, like or before I found out about My Little Pony, when I was like into Wings Club, like because at first I was on the internet mostly for like Flash games and watching whatever show I was like into at the point. I was like searching up pirated sites where I could watch Wings Club
fair.
and all of the seasons and all that. And that's when I discovered the world of like bases. I don't remember how I did that. I just came across them somehow. And then I started drawing over the bases. And then I was like, I think I somehow found a way to make myself a social media page, even though my parents really didn't want me to do that for obvious reasons. I was like, like 9 at the time, so it was not a good idea. Do not recommend anybody do that. Don't ever. That was bad. That bad fate. Go to your corner.
Not even don't even make social media when you're not. Just don't make a social media account. Stay away from the
Yeah,
internet.
no, don't. Yeah, absolutely. No, don't ever come to the internet. Finish watching this podcast and go out and touch grass. Delete
Hey,
all your accounts.
there you
buy
go.
buy buy the post mod art merch. Buy the shoes, and then go outside and like put the shoes on and go for a walk. Look at
Yes.
that. Look at that stuff. Don't you want to buy? Don't you want to fork up all your money for that?
Buy me more jewelry. I
You
mean,
should do that. But yeah, when I did that, I started posting in my like photo gallery where you're supposed to be like posting pictures of yourself. I just posted like all the like squiggles that I drew with the wings bases. And then when I got into the MLP fandom, I started to get like more I had like a new page and like a new social media site. And at this point I actually started like posting my first ever YouTube videos. Like I discovered the Pony Creator, the Flash game where you can like make your own ponies. You can like pose them. You can like somewhat make them look like they're animated. And I started like making stories with that. I got like 1,000 subscribers out of that. You know, I don't mean to brag or anything, but that was kind of popular at the time. Yeah.
casual flex, but okay.
Yeah. And at the time, let's be honest, it wasn't a lot, but still, the community that was like started to build around like people like engaging with like my stories at the time, however cringe they were, and however silly all my art was. Like I started posting more of my art there, more like less base. I stopped using bases at some point. I like grew into my big boy pants and I started like drawing on my own, and it
There you
was
go.
just it was really like I'm trying to find like a proper word.
Would you say like almost cathartic, almost like relieving to
I
like,
almost cathartic, yeah, but I don't know if that's fitting. It was more like it makes me feel good, but I can't really understand why it makes me feel good. I just want to keep on like continue doing that. So
rewarding in a way?
yeah, yeah, rewarding. It felt like yeah, I was doing stuff, but now it's like I can see like I'm not just doing stuff for no reason. I'm actually like getting something out of it.
Okay.
And well, it was fun to see people engage with my characters. Like there were a lot of people who were like discussing like aspects of the story, but it was like other kids, so of course none of the cringe stuff was like really that like off-putting to anybody. We should go back to that, honestly. We should go back to all being kids and not judging each other
Yeah.
and just and just vibing with with like our My Little Pony like creation dolls things. I finally started to make friends in that community. At that point, I made a really good friend that I'm still in contact with to this day. I mean, we kind of fell out recently, but it's not like in a bad way. We just kind of drifted apart. But it
Right.
was still, we made a lot of great memories, and that was just so cool. And then I kind of just like started to like go off of that. I'd move on to like a new hyperfixation, and I would like change my whole identity at that point. I would move on to a new social media. I moved away from the the first social media that I had at that point, which was like on a site that I don't want to name, honestly. It was a site that's geared towards the audience from my original country of origin, which is like original country of origin. Ah, yes.
Yeah. Honestly, valid, understandable.
Yeah. Which is like on the moon or somewhere. But
Somewhere
I
out there
then
in space,
started
right?
yeah, somewhere like in the general vicinity of like the nearest North Star. Uh
There you go.
and then and then I started like posting on Tumblr. This is when I started to get into Undertale more. I started to branch out. I really like started to lose interest in MLP, and I started also like moving towards making animation memes with my original characters instead of like My Little Pony stuff. I
Okay.
switched channels. I honestly, I kind of feel bad about switching channels at that point. I had this lame habit at some point where I just like, I'm not getting to where I want to beginning. I need to like scrap everything and start over. I don't really like that mentality about myself. I've done that like, what, like 4 times in my whole life,
Oh
probably.
goodness.
Yeah, it's not great. I hope I can stop doing that with Creature. Maybe Creature is gonna stick with me, but who knows?
I mean, you've had at least creature for like what, like a year and a half, 2 years now at this point, which is solid.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're like the most long lasting so far. So unless I'm forgetting something, but
Here's hoping.
yeah. So I started like branching more into like original character stuff
Hmm.
way more, but like it was still like geared towards a specific fandom because like when I got into Undertale, I also later got like a hyperfixation on Cuphead and Bendy. Those were like coming out at the same time, so I feel like Tumblr at the time just were like collectively hyperfixating on both games at the same time. And they also had like very similar themes as well. It's like these like old cartoons and all that. And that's when I also started like making more like, what do you call them? I started making like little AU stories.
Okay.
So yeah, those also like were kind of short-lived, honestly, but I was having fun in that at that point. And after that is when I started to move to Twitter. Because that's when I went, fuck, hold on. When I started to getting over like Undertale and all that other stuff, I think I wasn't like making any like art in relation to Undertale when I was into Undertale. I was just watching everybody else doing their thing. I was like standing on the side, like wishing that I knew how to draw sans, but I couldn't draw sans.
Wait, time out. How do you mean that you can't draw? I'm sorry. That's a very simple design when it comes to
I know.
sands.
I know. It was more like it's not like I couldn't draw him. It's like I couldn't decide. I was like, that's another issue that I always had with like my art is that it's also when I became a teenager, and at that point I was just like a walking like ball of self-consciousness. I was like looking at everybody else's art and like comparing my own art to it. Like, look at this. This is brilliant. This is beautiful. Looking at my own stuff, like, what is this? Why can't you be better? Again, I don't like that mentality about myself. But it was there. I think at that point I was mostly focusing on like a different original story, which looking back at it now, clearly I should have seen the signs about myself being trans earlier. But like with MLP, I was just like projecting my own like dreams into the story without realizing. Same thing happened with the second story, and yeah, I was like mostly like consuming the stuff from other artists and like working on my own stuff in the background. Like sometimes I would share them, and they wouldn't be getting like as much attention as my other stuff because it makes sense because it was like new. Nobody knew my characters at the time, so nobody was like as interested in the stuff that was more familiar to them. And at that point, I started to like. It was like when I was started to become growing into my like late teens, like 17, 18s. I moved on to Twitter. This is when Has Been Hotel came out and overtook my life for a moment. I actually like started to really like get the most attention when I started to make like Has Been Hotel related like fan art and stuff. And again, there was like a lot of like community feel. I actually like looking back at it, like there was like different eras with like MLP fandom. There was a lot of community around the art that I was making. Then during my teen years, there was like barely any community left. There was some, but it felt way more isolating for some reason. I call that the dark ages for my art. But I did meet someone at this point who became my really good friend at the time. And honestly, again, we bonded over like our mutual love for the Bendy and Cuphead. We like hung out all the time. We were like role playing as the characters all the time, and it was just great. They were a good friend of mine. They still are a good friend of mine, even though we don't talk as much. Again, it's like it's cool to like make all of these memories with people and like build connections with stuff. And then Has Been Hotel came out, and like again we returned to like having a much stronger community. I'm pretty sure like Has Been Hotel like came out and just like took over everybody's brain simultaneously.
Yeah, like as someone that is like, at least has their toe in when it comes to that kind of fandom. The fandom is unique, to say the least. They certainly have a stronghold on the internet.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like it's freaking everywhere. At some point, I started to notice like people with like Hell of a Boss or Has Been Hotel profile pics and like the comment sections of YouTube videos that have nothing to do with them. Like it is a completely different side of the internet at this point. And I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm supposed to be the only one here. But yeah, I'm not really like into Has Been Hotel as much as I did before. Right. I haven't even watched the show, to be honest. But I actually do want to give the pilot a lot of credit for the fact that when I turned 18, I just recently, there was a major change in my life, and a lot of stuff were going on, and I kind of like stopped making art for some time. I had like another one of my breakdowns where I gotta start over, I gotta burn everything down. But at this one, I also like had the thought of like, I'm not even like gonna start over. I'm just done. My art is like not getting like where I want it to be. I feel like I'm worthless. I will never be able to make anything as good as Has Been Hotel. What is the point of living? All of that stuff. And I just wanted to focus on like working mostly, but I realized that like removing art from my life made it just so drab and like gray. Ironically, like I feel like I just like lost the ability to see colors. And Has Been Hotel hasn't came out yet, like the pilot, but I was like expecting for it to come out, and I was like, oh, okay, but when it comes out, I'm not gonna watch it because I know it's gonna make me feel like crap. And then it came out, and I was on a trip somewhere to like a different city. I was on a bus, and the bus stopped, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm bored. I don't want to like. They were like taking a stop at like a gas station to like get some food or something, and it was taking a while. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go on the internet. I'm bored. And Has Been Hotel has just came out at that point. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it. As I like turn it on, and I sat there like I watched it, the whole thing. And yeah, I'm not watching this. I don't want to do this right now as I watch it. And surprisingly, it did not make me feel like crap. I actually felt very comfortable at that point. I was just like watching it. I was like laughing along with all the jokes. And it just like a wave of inspiration just came out of nowhere, and it's just like I'm like, I want to go draw. And I really do got to give the show credit for that. So even though I don't like it as much as I did back then, it definitely meant a lot to me in the moment. And that's like, I think that's like the one common thing with all my hyperfixations. Even if it's something that I like no longer like feel as strong about in the current day, it was something that meant a lot to me in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like that's I want to say like that's the common thread, I guess. I guess I'm just like art for me is a way to cope with life. It's not a way to make a living as much as it is a way to live.
Yeah.
So
That's a great. Hold on, I've never heard that before, but that is a great way to word it. Like
just came up with that.
that's. Hold on, you need to put that on a T-shirt or a banner or something like that.
Yes.
It's not a way of living. It's just a way of live. It's a way to live, or however you word it. That was
A way to live, laugh, love, man.
And there's the cringe again. No,
Yes. Always got to bring it back with the cringe. You
I
can't have it too nice.
I will say though, when it comes to like you talk about your hyperfixation. I mean, I think that's a good way of like viewing like hyperfixations as a whole. Like for a lot of people, or like just interest. Like there might be a point to where it's not like everything in your life, but you can obviously like look back on it, see how much it impacted you, and how like it helped you out, especially at that point of life. I mean, you were talking about obviously My Little Pony and the messages it would have. Undertale, like art aside, like the
Mm-hmm.
message that the game has alone, Gravity Falls and such like that, Has Been Hotel or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering where along this hyperfixation journey does Spooky Month sneak its way in there?
I I think it's just I I want to like phrase it like in a less vulgar way, but honestly, the only word that comes into my head is just boner Kevin. That's it.
I,
I'm sorry. Are you dead? I'm sorry.
potentially. I
Oh no.
I'm sorry. We had this beautiful like sentimental moment talking about like these had wonderful impact in your life, or, wonderful stuff like that. Boner Kevin. Like,
Yeah. I mean, that's just life. Sometimes there's like deeper meaning to something. Sometimes it's something that strikes a chord with you. Sometimes it's just something that gives you a boner, honestly. That's just life. Some things are really simple. But
okay.
honestly, Spooky Month is definitely going to. I can't tell what part of it like struck a chord with me. I feel like I like rewritten. Yeah, that's the word. Rewritten the script for the original like series multiple times because I went on like several tangents about like what it makes me think about, what it makes me feel, like the reason it strikes a chord with me, and I really look at it. Through the lens of like comparing it to all the other of Senior Pello's content. I keep calling him Sir Pello, but I don't think that's right. I think it's
I
Senior
mean,
Pello,
he
right?
hasn't. I mean, he hasn't corrected anyone for calling him Sir Pello. So,
Okay, so I guess I'm allowed to keep saying it wrong then.
I mean,
Uh,
I keep calling him Senior Pello because given his heritage or whatnot, like that is the one that honestly makes the
mhm.
most sense
Yeah,
for me.
that makes sense. Yeah, but I always just saw it like Sir Pello, and that's always how been reading it, and
I
that's
mean,
how I've been saying it.
I mean, you're literally not the only one. I remember whenever I was promoting the episode with Senior Pello, like a lot of people were just calling him Sir Pello, and again, like I said, no one he hasn't corrected
Yeah,
anyone. So I mean, like, why stop
yeah.
saying it?
Yeah. So, I was comparing it to all his other content. I didn't watch his stuff all that often. I actually discovered him through his Undertale parody videos,
Right.
and I don't know, funny man screaming with these, "You touched the child? I didn't touch the child."
Classics.
All that stuff. Yeah. And then I just subscribed to him, and like I checked out some of his other videos, and then I forgot about him for like years until the third episode of Spooky Month just like got recommended to me and I watched it, and even though I had like no context for it, I just like I looked at like the name and the profile. Oh, I remember that guy. He's the one who made all those "Don't Touch the Child" ones. And then I watched the episode of Spooky Month, and I was like, this is like there's a story here. This it's not just like a silly thing.
hmm
Wow. And like I went and checked the other two episodes, and like the first one is literally just Sir Pello at his most Sir Pello. It's
Right.
literally just two kids running around screaming "Spooky!" It's just
It's Spooky
Pokemon! Freaking that stupid ass music. I love it so much.
It's great.
Yeah. But then the second one, it's already like there's suddenly like there's lore, there's like all of these like alien looking like Cthulhu creatures out of nowhere, and like the third episode is just like continues on of that and like builds off of it, and like now it's like there's no denying that there's like a lore in the story going on. It's just like it's so interesting to me like how it's like started off from like it looks like it's a joke that went too far essentially, and I guess I connected to that a lot because a lot of my own like projects that mean a lot to me now also started off as like something like random that I thought about in my head, and then it just started to like it just started living in my head. It doesn't pay rent, and it does not like refuses to leave. It just stays there, and now it's like an old friend. You can't even like kick it out. Like now I don't even want to kick you out. You're like you're a friend of mine. You're like a brother to me. I want you to stay now. And it's like it grows into something so much more is what I want to say, because like a lot of my stories, they're usually pretty like heavy on like angst and lore. They have like plenty of comedy, but they always start off more like comedic
Mm-hmm.
than like deep, but then they get like deeper and deeper, and it's kind of like I guess I kind of related to that, like looking at it, oh, it started off as a joke, but then like the creator got so attached to it that they decided to like make like a whole story around it. So I really like that. It's just I think that's like the beautiful thing about art, honestly, like when it's so earnest, when it's so genuine, that's just like it starts to like take over your brain, and now it's like a part of you, and like it's a part of you that you want to share with the world. It's beautiful.
I mean, it's absolutely insane, especially like learning about how that story even developed in the first place, and then hearing for you how much it kind of strikes a chord with you, especially with how you want to do your storytelling. Like I can easily see why it becomes not only your like hyperfixation but almost like your personality at this point. Like
Yeah.
Spooky Month has really influenced a whole lot. I'm just wondering where Kevin fits into this situation now, in this equation. Like what is it about
Boy.
Kevin, what is it about Kevin alone that just makes you go awooga, hot cha cha, all that shit?
Honestly, I kind of like I was watching the show and I like didn't even pay attention to Kevin until like one day I like looked at him like from a specific angle, like bombastic side-eyed, and then just like went, "Hold on a second. Something there's something here. Hold on. Hold on."
Hold up.
And then I
Wait a
drew him
minute.
and I'm like, "Hold on a sec. Hold on a second. I need everybody to like hear me out."
Just hear
And
me out.
they
Hear me out. Hear me out.
yeah. Let me explain. Hold on. Do you see the vision?
I have a plan.
I yeah. I can't really tell what it is about him that strikes such a like strong chord with me. It's honestly like one of the common themes in my hyperfixation. There's always like a fictional guy that I'm like crushing on, and it's like looking at the progression of how like from where I started to where I ended, it's even more confusing because like where did it start from? Like the earliest I can remember is like oh god, I can't remember how what the name of it goes. Ninja Hattori from an anime Ninja Hattori. It's like by the same creator of Doraemon. It's not as well known as Doraemon as far as I'm concerned, but it's like it's been airing on the TV when I had the TV, and I was just like looking at that like little ninja thing, and I'm like, ah yes, I want.
Ah, yes, Papa likey.
Yes. Yeah. Then it like at some point it was like Beast Boy from specifically from Teen Titans Go. I am
Oh,
very cringe.
as well as you had me in the first half, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I can see that. Wait, Teen Titans.
I
Okay.
yeah, I saw your expression change. I'm like, I can see. I feel like I physically just saw like a prompt like -10 respect.
Like I said, you had me in the first half. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like I can see it. I
Yeah.
can understand why people would be that. Wait, the go.
Yeah, no, listen, I take the L on that. I don't know. It was at the it was at the age when I like for some reason the original Teen Titans just felt too dark for me. I feel really I want to go back in time and slap my baby self in the face like go watch the original, so much better. He's so much cuter in there too. And then, like after that, oh my god, that one was like one of the strongest. It was fucking Finn from Adventure Time when I was like 12 to 13.
Oh yeah, okay. Around that age range, that one makes sense. That one honestly makes sense.
Yeah, I remember like I was looking at it, and it was like one of the first points in my life where I started to realize how silly like fictional crushes are. I'm like looking at his face, literally two dots and like a line, and I'm like, what? Why is he hot? Why? That is not hot. Why is he hot though?
I was gonna say, look, for comparison, when I was about that young or a little younger than that, like my hyperfixation was Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot. Okay, like that.
Oh yeah.
Like that. When I was younger, that was my cartoon crush. Okay.
I see she was a cartoon crush for a lot of people.
Yep.
Honestly. But she's cute. Honestly, I gotta give the design team that. I watched my Life as a Teenage Robot as a kid. My favorite thing about Jenny's design was always like the way that they did like her legs, like the little like triangular boot looking things. They always looked so freaking cool.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. But yeah, Finn was like he had a really strong grip on me for some reason. I don't know. I used to like fantasize about how I'm like gonna turn into a cartoon character and travel to the land of Oo to become like his girlfriend. At the time, I haven't figured myself out yet. But yeah,
I love the imagination of a child more than anything.
Yeah. Everybody remembers the deer episode of Adventure Time because of the creepy deer. I remember that episode because it put me through puberty. There's a scene where Finn takes off his shirt.
I love that phrasing so fucking much.
Yeah. I don't remember which one dethroned Finn specifically. Boy, I'm trying to. I think it was like I want to say Sans, but I also don't want to say Sans.
See, I was gonna jokingly say Sans,
no. No, actually, I don't think I had like that big of a crush on Sans. I think I like the character, but I wasn't like I like him. I was just like I like him. He's cool. But actually, I just remembered after Finn, it was fucking Bill Cipher.
Of course, it was
that's when I started.
Of course, it was Bill Cipher.
Yeah, that's when I started like writing my teenage youth story, the one where I started to figure out myself out, like both my like. Well, I haven't actually started figuring myself out at all, to be honest. I was just like. I was clearly going through it, and I didn't realize that I was like projecting onto my art so much. The main character of that story, as I imagined, was a guy who looked like a girl, sounded like a girl, and was struggling with his masculinity. And that was just, and I like projected onto him a lot.
I was gonna say, I'm not saying this is projecting, but this sounds like you're projecting a lot.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Honestly, I feel looking back at my life, there were way more signs that there was something queer about me going on.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like at some point I just woke up and I'm like, oh my god, I was gay all along. How did I miss this? But yeah, Bill Cipher, and after Bill Cipher, who was it? It was King Dice. That's who. Motherfucking
okay.
King Dice. King Dice had like a strongest grip on me of all, I want to say, because he came back for round 2. He wasn't done with me the first time. When I got over the game, the show came out, and I'm like, oh my god. They gave him like a little redesign, and I'm like, I was like, okay, well I'm done with the character now. I just want to see. Oh my god.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me right back in.
Yeah. You can't keep getting away with this. If they like put out some more like Cuphead stuff and like King Dice grabs me again, I swear to God, I'm gonna like legally marry him. Honestly, at that point, it must be destiny. He's
I'm just now imagining you with like little space you like holding the flowers, like tuxedo hat and everything like that, with like a chain holding the king dice. You're like, we're married now.
yeah. Hell yeah, you're gonna like see people like receiving the DM from me like, hello, I would like to request that you no longer draw art of King Dice because he is my fiance and soon my husband.
But until that time comes, I assume the one that replaced King Dice, at least the second time around, was Kevin.
uh, okay, I'm trying to remember who was it the first. I can't think of like I just want to point out very quickly that as I'm telling you this, my wall has like a torn like piece of paper stuck to it with like a parody of like "Do It for Her" meme from Simpsons, but it's like "Do It for Him" and it's like pictures of King Dice from the show. It's like worn and for like it's also faded from the light, but it's still there, and I look at it every time, and it inspires me to keep going because, god damn it, I do it for him. So after King Dice, I'm trying to remember who it was the first time. The dethroned King Dice. I cannot, for the love of me. Oh fuck.
Oh God.
Oh, it was fucking Alistair. Briefly, briefly,
Okay.
briefly. I want to
Okay.
mention.
Yeah.
I want to make
Yeah.
it very clear that it was briefly. I realized
That's
that he was.
regardless. Yeah. No, that makes sense. A lot of people still simp over him.
Yeah, no offense to anybody who still does. Like,
Yeah, of
I
course.
love you. You're awesome. You're like beautiful. But like, I realized pretty quickly that he's cringe, and I noped out of that. He was toxic, honestly.
I was saying, then you two should be perfect because you're cringe and he's cringe. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, but he's also like he's not. It's not just that he's cringe. It's also that he's toxic. You know.
okay.
So yeah, I had to move on to someone better than him. So the next one was Valentino from Hasbin Hotel.
How did you get worse? How did you find a way to get worse?
I I honestly don't know. I'm kind of like it's one of those hyperfix. I know I just said like I don't have to hate my hyperfixation, even though I don't like, even though I'm not connected to them as much. But like every time I look back at like myself liking Valentino, I feel like that Hulk meme where he like looks back at his past self and is like embarrassingly like looking away. I don't know. I don't know what like I think it might have been like a very specific fan artist that drew him very well, and like I like saw their vision. I was like, okay, I'm gonna hear you out.
Oh
Please
God.
keep talking. Yeah, let them cook.
God. Oh no.
Yeah. I can't say that I feel the same way, honestly. After Valentine, I'm trying to remember who it was after that. It definitely was an improvement, I'll tell you that much, whoever it was. I think it was King Dice again.
Okay, there you
After
go.
that. That's when he came back. Oh no no. Oh wait, yeah, it was King Dice again, and then after that, I discovered Shadow the Hedgehog. I wasn't like big on Sonic when I was a kid. I was like I used to when I was a kid. I watched like animated fan compilations of like fan made animations of like Sonic, like all the goofy stuff. I never played any of the games. I didn't even watch any other show. I tried to like watch Sonic X, but I got bored of that pretty quickly, so it didn't take like a hold of my life. But then it did when it came back, and when I discovered Shadow, and I'm like, go on. And yeah, then it was Shadow. So after Shadow, that's when Kevin came.
There
So
we
Shadow
go.
got dethroned by Kevin.
There
And
we
at this
go.
point, I don't know who it is. Probably still Kevin, although I feel like I'm drifting away. I feel like at any point someone new might like return to swoop me, and I'll be honest, I am not a loyal person at all. It's a good thing I'm not dating any real people.
Well, I was gonna say I figured it would have flamed up a little bit because I don't know if you saw, but Senior Pillow did release a tiny clip of the upcoming Spooky Month
Oh,
Part
oh
80
fuck.
initiative.
Oh frick. Yeah, I saw it come up on my timeline and I scroll past it immediately because like nope, nope, no, no, not now. I can't right now. It's going to hurt me. My autism is going to like cause me physical pain. I need a moment. I need to breathe. I need to physically prepare myself because I know I'm going to like stim so hard I'm gonna break my head or something.
I mean, if nothing else, like you may call it autism, but some people could call it inspiration because if nothing else, certainly these hyperfixations has really influenced. I imagine, especially when it comes to the characters that you've, to put it bluntly, simped over for the past Lord knows how many years or whatnot. I imagine they've had a very heavy influence into your art, and especially like your style that you developed for yourself.
Definitely, yeah. They're what keeps me going. I say as I look over to my King Dice poster.
I mean, if nothing else,
For context.
sorry, go on.
Yeah, for context, I was done yet. Go ahead.
Gotcha. No, no, I was gonna say like I know, especially like more than anything else, the thing that I at least appreciate, at the very least, like there might be some common archetypes or whatnot, but like each of those characters are like unique in their own way that you've enjoyed in one way or another, and lead to some very like interesting designs and stuff like that. Like, is there any of that stuff that you like personally take into yourself, like take into your own like creative process when it comes to like developing your own characters and developing your own stories?
Yes. I want to like hold on. So I remember when I was specifically working on my, as I like to call it, teenager angst story, because it was about teenager angst and I was going through teenager angst and I was writing about it. The one with the girly boy. I was taking a lot of inspiration from Gravity Falls, and there was a character who was like strongly inspired by like Bill Cipher as well. It kind of had like a story, like it was also like kind of like a combination of another story that I was into at the time, not as much as Gravity Falls, which was Disney Channel's Dude, That's My Ghost. So it was kind of like a combination of those two. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It feels kind of obscure, honestly. Nobody
I
talks about it.
I feel like I've heard of it, like it vaguely. It sounds, it's not like, I'll say like I don't think I ever watched it, but I know I've heard of it.
Yeah, for the gist of it is that it was very simple. There was like no lore to it really. It was just like a situation comedy about a guy whose cousin died and is a ghost and they're just like going on like crazy adventures together. One of the guy has a dead cousin ghost that's always around him. Very like lighthearted, for the kids kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I was like writing at the time with the like taking inspiration mostly from Gravity Falls. I was also like clearly going through like personal like trauma with like I was getting bullied in school a
Okay.
lot. I was an artist, so of course I got bullied. But on top of that, I was also an introvert and I was also a foreign kid. And the thing that the teenagers and like minorities do not go well
No, they do
together.
not.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm not like a minority, honest. I'm white. I will just put it out there, but I was a minority in the country that I reside in.
Okay.
So, I'll say about I just don't want to like give anybody like any wrong assumptions. So, just put it out there. I am a cracker. So,
I thought. Sorry, time out. Time out. I thought you were purple.
yeah. Well, I am purple, but the artist behind me is like as white as the canvas that they drew me
There
on.
we
So.
go. Okay.
But yeah, at that point I was writing a lot of I also like started to like transition in my stories into like more darker like stuff because like when I was like writing the story inspired by MLP, it was more like it was also more inclined with like Wings Club. There was like a lot of magic girl stuff. There were like
Okay.
powers, like all these transformations, fighting evil. And then when I started writing this new story, I was like death, blood, corruption everywhere. I was going through it, but it was also like much heavier on romance, and it was also like when I started to lean more into like queer story. I already started it with like my previous one, but I really like cranked it up to like a million with with this new one. So I was definitely like exploring myself without realizing that I was exploring myself. I recently started to like rewrite that story actually.
Okay.
So it's a little different, but it still retains a lot of the old elements. I rewrote the original character and I kind of like I turned the new character the main character into a girl, and I leaned into like her being trans also, like as a reference to how she started off as a girly looking boy. So I feel like that's just like she developed.
There you
She
go.
had character arc, like meta. But yeah, at that point, it was something that was important to me. So it I might have not been realizing that, but like it was helping me cope with like the life. Like at the very least, even though like the life is like around me is bleak and dark, at least it's even worse for my characters. So, and they still have each other. They still have like their friendship, like their gay little adventures, all of that stuff. And after I started to like transition into writing a different story, uh God, I don't remember what inspired this new. At some point, I started working on like my biggest project that I've like. It was definitely like my most ambitious project. Still working on it.
Ooh.
It's developed so much since like I first imagined it. It was like originally inspired by one thing, and then it was inspired by another thing. I feel like I was just in that period where I was like kind of darting around. I wasn't sure what I was doing, like who I was. I was trying to figure myself out. So the story, I guess, kind of like represented that. I had no idea what the plot even was. I just like it had these characters. It changed like who the main character is like multiple times. And at this point, it's like about classism. so I guess that's what I'm worried about now.
Okay. Okay. Well, you teased it, but now I'm genuinely curious. You said you were working on a project that you've been working on for like the longest time, or what? Now, what is this ambitious project that you're teasing at this point?
Okay, well, I might not be able to stop talking about, but I'm gonna try. I'm going to try and
I would
restrain
say,
myself.
I would say, look, this is a long form interview podcast. If you need to take a while to talk about it, take as long as you need.
Hold on a sec. Let me just moisturize my insides real quick.
Moisturize me.
Ah, yeah. So, I call this story currently Neo Fables, and it's about this the traveling circus in a world that is populated by like three sentient races, well, three
Okay.
sentient species mostly. It's vampires, humans, and mutants. Mutants are more like mutated humans. That's what they're called, but there's like a little complication with that. So vampires are the hierarchy in this world. They're running everything, and a lot of the humans obviously they don't like vampires because they're evil. They eat us and all of that stuff. And the main character of the story is a human who I'm trying to say this because it's a major spoiler. I almost spoiled.
It's a human with a mysterious past, more or less, or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He definitely has a mysterious past. He kind of has this like persona going on, I want to say. He's
Okay.
like a legend, this legendary like person thing who is known for like tampering with the king of vampires who like
Ooh.
a legendary thief who once stole a very very important item from the king of vampires, but then he died.
Oh.
But he's not dead though. He came back from the dead. So his name is Gatney, and he's a human, but he's pretending to be a vampire, and he's like going with this whole like mysterious person thing. He's trying to start essentially a revolution. He
Okay.
hates vampires. He tries to find a way to like alleviate humans, but he mostly like also focuses on like alleviating himself because he kind of got like an ego about him. Uh, and So the secondary main character is his name is Cole. He's also a human, and the two of them are like adoptive brothers.
Okay.
More like by not by parents, more like by like scenario in life. They like came together at some point. Like your life sucks and you have no parents. My life sucks and I have no
They
parents. Do
they
you see where this is going?
they are the family by circumstance more than anything else.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So the two of them, like, at some point become a part of a traveling circus, like, run by a vampire who was exiled by his family for
Okay.
some reason, but that reason is like unclear to the audience yet. And the vampire, he kind of like, his name is Lord Dart, and he tries to like be one of the good ones essentially. Like he doesn't like to like follow along in his like family lineage, I want to say. He holds like some status still. He has like some money, and he wants to use that to like allow people to like show off their talent. So he started a circus. It's kind of like a little complicated. He's gonna like get a savior complex about it. Like, oh, look, I'm like putting like these people, giving these people like an opportunity or something, and like Gatney is like all about. Yeah, I know you're full of shit, man. The the two of them do not get along. They kind of always like fight for like who should be like in charge of everything all the time. I honestly really like the way I wrote their dynamic. I feel like it's very like divorced couple who's never been married essentially. So there's that. It's like very heavily focuses on the conflict overall between humans and vampires. And the concept of neo-fables in this world is like it's like the most popular people, the most well-known people specifically, who are also like in some way resemble what do you call like fairy tale characters. So at some point, if you have like a lot of status and you resemble like you're like something about your aesthetic reminds people of a certain fairy tale character, you get to get called the neo-fable, and you get to like be called with the name of a specific fairy tale character that you resemble. So there's like this one evil vampire. He goes by the name like the Big Bad Wolf because he resembles the Big Bad Wolf. He's like evil and all that stuff. Okay. And yeah, there's like a bunch of like other people who have like neo-fable status, and Gatney wants to earn a neo-fable status. He specifically wants to be called Puss in Boots. He likes cats. That's his thing. He loves cats. He's a cowboy. He's a cowboy and he's a cowboy. He's a cowboy also. I forgot to mention.
I want to be a cowboy, baby.
I want to be a cowboy, baby. So yeah, he is trying to do like everything he can to like earn himself that status, that prestige, so that he can like use his influence to like end all vampires. Basically, that's his goal.
Okay.
And the thing about the neo-fable status, it's not something that you officially get. It's more like something that people start calling you by if they're convinced enough. So oftentimes you don't even get to like decide what you get called by. It's all very like nicknamed by the community thing. So it's one of the conflict in the story as well, as some people don't like the neo-fable status that they get. Like, I want to be called something else. Stop calling me like stop calling me like this lame thing. I'm not like a little piggy from that one thing.
I was gonna say I'd hate to be the guy that people call fucking Humpty Dumpty. All right, like.
Yeah, definitely. That's how you know you got the L from the community. Because some people are like neo-fables for good reasons, and some for like the bad reasons. Because the Big Bad Wolf, he has like these three goons who are called the Three Little Piggies, okay. And it's only because they work for him. So they're also neo-fables, but they suck, honestly. Nobody cares about them. They only got the title by association. Okay. And the members of the circus are also all like the main characters as well, and they also all have their reasons for why they want to be in the circus, because they're all like down on their luck kind of people. The mutants have like the least amount of respect in this society, because they're like, people believe that they're all like bewitched. Well, it not really. It's more like a propaganda that's being spread. Okay. By the vampires. So the mutants, they're like bewitched, they're bad, and like so. A large portion of the circus crew, they're mutants, but they want to like use their talents and like put themselves out there. Some of them, they just want to live peacefully because they don't have like any other choice. And some of them also want to just be a neo-fable. There's one of the characters there, Facility. She really wants to be called the Mad Hatter. She really tries hard to go for that. She's like a clown kind of character. So that's like all of the stuff that's going. There's a lot going on. It's gonna get like really dark from what I planned. A lot of like trauma going on. I'm specifically around Gatney because I feel like I just like you can tell he's my favorite character. Because he's about to go through the worst of it all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bring on
Yeah.
the trauma, bring on the pain.
Yeah. I like writing him a lot because he got this like really like douchey attitude because well he tries to push a really douchey attitude like oh I'm like hot shit I'm like this legendary kind of dude and whatever, but he's also just a big nerd. He really likes cats. Like he goes like all giddy when he sees a cat and all that. He really loves his brother by circumstance. Like he would do anything for that guy, all that stuff. He's also like has this like funny personality trait that he's very flirty, but at the same time he's Aero Ace and he doesn't want anybody else to flirt with him. So he's like the moment somebody reciprocates the behavior, he just like starts screaming.
Just hey there, hot stuff.
Yeah. Just nope. Abort mission. We went too far. No. And there's also like I the dynamic that I wrote between Gatney and his brother Cole is also one that like means a lot to me because it's also fun to see how like the trials of the world are gonna like try and tear them apart and how that's all gonna go down because Cole has almost like an opposite kind of personality trait to Gatney. He's very humble, very down to earth. He doesn't really care about all this like adventure crazy shit. He likes adventure, but he doesn't like all this like infighting. He's a nice person and he likes to help people, and he really likes to help people for like not the status reason as much as it is just like he believes that there's no such thing as bad people, so he's kind of naive about that. So also gonna be fun to see how that like part of him gets absolutely wrecked in the story. So
I was gonna say you're starting to sound like a more naive me the more you describe this character.
yeah, yeah, he definitely has like gonna have to go through some hard like learning. But it's also one of the themes in this story is also like how far can you like push someone, like how possible is it to like retain like goodness within yourself when like the whole world is just like everybody trying to eat each other alive essentially, like, and is there any reason for morals in a world where you don't get punished for being a bad person, all that stuff. So it's gonna be getting really dark, and it has a lot of like it takes a lot of space in my brain, honestly. It's honestly been kind of like I don't want to say more about it because I feel like I'm going into spoiler territory at this point. But I actually recently started writing another story, and it was like a bit of a break essentially because it was a lot simpler in plot. I actually ended up like writing a lot more about it in like a much shorter time. I feel like my skills have like improved ever since then.
Well, there you
So
go.
it was yeah. It's fun to actually see the way like your work like develops over the years, honestly, because like I'm looking back at the way I used to write and the way I write now. I definitely had improvement since then. I know how character introductions work. I know what is foreshadowing, all that stuff.
I mean, you know what? If you can look
So
back on yourself and see progress, that's a good thing more than anything else. It really shows that like
yeah.
you've seen how far you've been able to develop, and that progress is always good, especially for an art kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun to see how my skills improve. I feel like with this Neo Fables project, I'm probably gonna be like cooking it in the oven for a while to just like make it really, really good. But before that, I do want to give myself an attempt to like make a smaller scale story, and also one that I'm less attached to. So it's probably this one I'm writing right now is probably gonna be the first to see the light.
Okay.
And I don't know when, but because making making cartoons is like very complicated, but at some
Yeah.
point at some point, hopefully. Also, I just now noticed you have a little Cult of the Lamb figurine on your like
I
thing
do.
over there,
I
and right underneath it is a fucking dead guy.
Yeah, I just not made that because I was gonna show. Obviously, it's the little U2s that they came out with not too long ago, and whatnot. But now,
Oh my God.
oh yeah, Clyde is underneath my little lamb, isn't he?
Hi, Clyde. I feel so rude that I haven't said hi to you this whole time. He's just been there chilling.
It's okay. A lot of people don't even realize that Clyde's here half the time, so you're good. He's
Man,
just
justice for Clyde. What the heck?
he's just here for the conversation. Okay.
He's just vibing. He's like, you guys go ahead. I'll just stick around.
I got no bones in this conversation. I'm just here to relax.
Yeah.
I
I have no bones to rattle.
There you go. I Going back to the story though, like especially with the Neo fables, like that story sounds absolutely interesting, and I'm also slightly curious on the newer cartoon that you're teasing. I mean, if you want to go on that rabbit hole just a little bit and not
I
obviously spoil too much, I mean, go for it.
I could honestly. It's a romantic comedy. It's a kind of
Ooh.
it's more of a situation comedy with like a romance like as like a secondary theme in it. And it's much simpler. It's mostly focusing on these two like I wonder if anybody's gonna be able to figure out what recent thing I watched inspired this one.
Mm.
It's about these two aliens who come to Earth on a like what is it called? The word an anthropology mission, essentially.
Okay.
And through cartoony shenanigans that ensued, they end up becoming legal guardians of two human kids on Earth. So the aliens they take in like human disguises on Earth, so they have to pretend to be humans. And now that they're there, they kind of stuck like pretending to be a family, essentially, with these two like teenagers, and they have no idea what's going on. Like we just came here to like learn about like Earth and like figure out what's going on with the humans and all. We did not sign up to become parents.
Goodness, and you were talking about obviously like what hyperfixation kind of led to that. I'm assuming it's some sort of not similarities of the not lunar kind, if I can say so myself. Uh,
It definitely has something to do with space, probably.
just a little bit, something a little bit
Yeah.
more solar, and maybe a bit on the opposite end
Yeah,
of what
yeah,
we're
so
assuming.
kind of on the opposite end of like the solar. Yeah.
No,
I'm
awesome.
like, I'm trying
Go on.
I'm trying to make it as original as I can, but like I
I mean, of
can't deny
course.
that the inspiration is there.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, Solar Opposite is just like a family of aliens. With this one, it's more
Hmm.
like just two aliens coming down and then just bringing in two human kids, which I mean could lead to its
Yeah.
own like unique little antics on its own. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a wide variety of ways you can sort of take it one way or another. So
Hmm. It's I don't know what it is. I feel like it's like I have some kind of attachment to like found family dynamic because I notice it's like present in all the stories I'm writing.
yeah, just not especially when you're talking about Neo Fables. Yeah, I can see that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so in Neo Fables, like the circus becomes a family. Like the main two characters are like an adoptive family. Uh, in the story that I was like rewriting from when I was a teenager, as I changed it now, the main character is like an orphan who gets adopted by this single woman, and like they have like a very rough relationship that starts off rough because the kid is like a riot, essentially. And now this one. I call this new one Earth to Trenches. Trenches is the last name of the family that they take
Okay.
in. I might change that. I don't know, but I kind of like how it's. I originally wanted to call it Grounded, but then it's like that is so lame. This is just
I
like one
mean,
word.
I mean, it's. I'm not gonna say I mean, it's basic more than anything else. Because I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's simple, it makes sense, but like, I know
Hmm.
you want to give it a little bit of a flair of creativity.
Yeah, it's not unique enough, honestly. It
There you go.
does like it encapsulates the story perfectly. Yeah, it's get they on Earth, they grounded, but Earth to Trenches is just way more original, way more recognizable. I want to say, and yeah, it's really fun to like see how the dynamic between like two alien parents and two human like kids, how that's gonna work out.
Mm.
And yeah, of course, the two aliens who came to Earth, they were like just teammates. They're like the captain of the crew. The rest of the crew died. There was like five of them, but now there's two of them. So
Oh boy,
there's
so
the captain
trauma.
and yeah. I mean, there will be elements of drama. I didn't plan it. I was like writing it. This is going to be a simple. I feel like I cannot contain myself. This is going to be a simple story. I tell myself just a simple comedy. I say as I build up the entire society of these aliens and I'm developing their language and cultures.
I mean, the main story can be simple. The backstory can be a
Yeah,
whole wide range of things. Okay.
yeah. I already ended up like writing the backstories for both the alien characters. That like they're both traumatized.
Yay, trauma!
Yeah, they're gonna learn to come together and like figure their trauma out. The two kids, they're also traumatized because their original parents were shit to them. So now they're like, oh, their life just got turned upside down. So now they're adopted by two aliens.
Oh, the possibilities are already endless. And I know you kind of said that cartoons are a bit hard. Are you planning on making these like indie animated stuff, or do you want to start off with like web comics with these things? Like, what's the plan for both Earth to Trenches and Neo Fables? Like, what do you want to do with them?
Well, Neo Fables, I definitely want it to be an animated story. I want all my stories to be animated at some
Okay.
point. But I feel like Earth to Trenches, I could try and start it like a comic so that I can, get the story out there essentially, and get people like get eyes on it essentially,
Hmm.
and then hopefully after that I could try and like make a animated pilot out of it. That would be, I think that's the plan so far.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so yeah.
I will say I'm certainly excited to see both of these, and for either of these, whether it be animated stuff or even just like a webcomic dub or whatnot. If you need a voice actor for it, I'm more than happy to help you out. Free of charge. Like just want to throw my name out there and help you out, get this thing really get off the ground or whatnot, because I just want the experience more than anything else. So yeah.
Okay, well, no, you're not doing this free of charge. I am paying you, whether you like it or not, if you're gonna be working for me.
I'm just
But
I'm just I'm just saying if money is in a pinch to help out my friends, I understand. Okay, I mean I certainly won't say no to money. I'm just saying you don't have
well, it's good that you won't say no because it's not an option.
to.
Oh my god, no! Oh, that sounded so bad. Oh god.
I the one thing I am gonna be excited about with these stories or whatnot is I know that the characters, like, you've already teased them or whatnot, but they're gonna be some really incredible characters, and like I can only imagine how the character designs for them are going to look. Given your little experience that everyone would know about how character design should be, with a fun little shit post you made a while ago of male versus female character
Oh
design.
god, god damn it. Ah,
How
I can hear the freaking Vietnam planes flying over my head.
I mean, to be fair, you weren't wrong in that assessment. Like, you made a very
No,
valid point.
I will admit, no, I'm not wrong. No, to be humble about it, but like I also do want to admit a lot of people were not happy about that post.
Well, I wonder why, because I imagine a lot of people were like, no, not my cartoon. No, this cartoon's got plenty of cool characters, when you were making more or less a general assessment to a lot throughout
Yeah,
history.
a lot of people like didn't understand what I meant. They're like, they felt like I meant that women characters aren't allowed to be hot. That's not what I said.
Right.
I said that if you're gonna have variety in like one side of one gender of your cast, you should have the same amount of variety in the other as well, because otherwise it's just sexist. I feel like I will admit though, I feel like part of the reason why a lot of people were like angry at that post is because of how I phrased like my thoughts alongside it. I kind of did the mistake of showing how I care about something
Mm-hmm.
online by saying very strong like I hate this so much. I feel like maybe I could have negated some of that damage if I was like more goofy about it, like I usually try to be, but I don't know, I was seething when I was doing those designs.
I mean, again, like I said, to be fair, you weren't wrong. I'm just wondering, like, what exactly sparked you to make that shitpost in the first place?
I watched the show and I noticed like how cool the character designs were, and I was like thinking to myself, "Oh my god, I love how cool the character designs were." Then a woman shows up and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then a second woman shows up and I'm like, "Okay." I mean, that's okay. And then the third woman shows up and I'm like, "Are are we gonna get like any funky women?" Why do they all look the same? They have like big ass lips and like curvy butts and like no variety. They all look the same. Like guys were literally like as weird as you could imagine, like just a whole bunch of like shapes,
Hmm.
but women just like one template with a different like hairstyle. I'm like, what is this? Where did the creativity go?
I mean, again, it's a
I
very
was just
valid
upset
point.
about that.
it's a
Yeah.
it's a very valid point, especially if you look at like the history of cartoons, especially like back in the day when people were like,
Hmm.
crowned as like obviously the creative time when character design stuff like that. It was like, no, it's a lot of cookie cutter copy and paste design the thing over it. That.
Hmm.
I mean, I feel like obviously nowadays it's less like that. But even then, like I said,
Definitely, yeah.
with your post or whatnot, you weren't lying. It was funny. People just this is also the internet we're talking about here. When do they not take something
Yeah.
way too seriously? Sometimes. I mean,
That's true, yeah. I had people like making jokes about me being raped as a result of that.
what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Internet
I,
touch
I,
grass.
I said a thing. Just calm down. You don't have to agree with it.
Yeah. God damn. Like,
Even though I'm right, you don't have to agree.
it's literally why you booing me? I'm right.
Yeah, exactly.
uh,
But yeah, what's most funny to me is that my notifications after that was just full of people like spamming One Piece.
I mean, they got a point.
Yeah, I see their point, honestly. But you are right. It's definitely like less of an issue nowadays. There's like way more variety in character designs. Love to see it. Absolutely freaking love to see it.
Yeah.
Freaking The Amazing World of Gumball, in my opinion, is one of the best examples of like
Yes.
amazing female character designs. They're just like there's literally a T-Rex, a cloud, a peanut. Yes, the pinnacle of female form.
The pinnacle of female
Yeah.
form of peanut.
But yeah, it's not that I don't want there to be like busty like female character designs. That's not the point. It's just we need variety. That's the thing.
Exactly.
I myself have like several female characters who are like very busty, and like that's okay. People like that exist, but the thing is, they're not the only type
Yeah.
of people that exist.
They're not the only kind of people that are out there. There is a thing called variety, which is the spice of
Yeah,
life.
hell yeah. And plus, you can tell stories with character designs. That's like what makes it so much more interesting. I love like designing my characters. My Neo Fables characters specifically, they're very detailed in their design, and they're just like you can look at them and you can immediately, well, you should at least immediately be able to tell what story is being told here. You can look at this guy and like, oh, he's traumatized. You can look at the other one. It's like, oh, she's traumatized, and also she's a dancer.
What is your character traits? Trauma, 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 bananas, trauma.
Yeah. Bro, you just described one of my characters specifically. That's all of his character traits. Trauma, 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 bananas, trauma. Several of my friends already know who that is.
Now I have to be in the know at some point. I mean,
Yeah.
if we want to talk about like obviously peak character design when it comes to any of the stuff that you've created, I mean, we've got to talk about the peak male character design that you have created, which is Little Creature. I have to
Oh
know,
my god.
I have to know the backstory behind the lovely little creature. How did this come to be, and why did you adopt this as you?
Honestly, it's actually kind of beautiful, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of intended for Creature to be more like a non-binary looking like thing, more so than like more like a male, less than a male, more like a non-binary thing.
Okay.
Because like they even have like slightly different pronouns. I go by he they, and they go by he. No, they go by they it.
Okay,
It's a thing. It's a drawing.
So take the male out of it. Just peak character design right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be whatever. It's whatever it is, it's not wearing pants. That's the one thing about it.
Yep.
Uh the way I designed it, so I had a dream dream. So ever since I had a dream for way too long. Wow, I realize how long I've procrastinated. 12 years. God damn.
Oh
Uh,
goodness.
yeah, that. I mean, I hope I don't ever break that record. So I had a dream. I wanted to make YouTube videos ever since I figured out that I could do that. I mean, I started making YouTube videos at some point, but ever since like I had my little breakdown over my animation memes not doing too well, uh, I stopped uploading YouTube videos. But I always wanted to make very specific types of content. I just wanted to talk about like stuff that, I think at first I wanted to make them like storytime animations. It was very like popular at some point. I mean, they still are as far as I can tell, but it used to be like much bigger.
Hmm.
And I wanted to do that, and I tried to start on it a few times, but I didn't have the confidence for it. And at some point I was just like, I was going about my day like planning on what kind of videos I could make. At some point I stopped thinking about like story time. I just like started thinking like video essays or something on like cartoons and movies that I like. And I would like plan all these like videos that I could do. I never write anything down. I just like walk around my room pretending like if I was hypothetically making a video, this is what I would say. I'd be funny as hell, man. So I would go about it like for years, and every time I would like start thinking about, so when am I gonna do this? There would be like a thought that like, I'm not ready for this yet. I need like, well, I need stuff for this. And recently-ish, I had an epiphany. I had a realization. I thought to myself, so what do I need? I can like draw, so I can like any visuals, I can just put those like put my art on it. I have like ideas about what I want to do, somewhat. I have a microphone. I bought a microphone at some point, so I have a microphone. So what exactly do I need? Oh, I heard a bark. That was a
Yep,
dog.
that was a dog. That was indeed a dog in the
There it
background.
is. There it is. There's the dog. But yeah, uh, then I realized that, oh, I don't have a recording space. Duh. Okay, excuse restored. Back to not doing anything. So I really started at some point trying to like go for it, just like, okay, I have everything I need. Even though I don't have a recording space, it's like literally one thing that I'm missing. But there was another thing that I was missing, and that is an avatar.
Okay.
I was thinking for a really long time about what my avatar I wanted it to be. I changed my avatar at some point, like pretty drastically in like a long period, in like a short period of time. I changed it a lot, and I also never really drew my avatar. Every time I designed it, I just looked at it and I'm like, it's a nice design, like yes, slay, whatever, but it's not me. I don't like it. I don't want to draw it. I don't like how it looks. And I started to like, I opened up a new like drawing file, and I started like sketching the ideas that I had, and I wanted it to be like simple and recognizable so that I can draw it as like as many times as I need to like make it kind of look animated if I need to. And it has to like has like little like gothic looking details to it or something, but nothing ever looked right. I was just like, I was breaking down like I can't draw myself. What the hell am I doing? And at some point, I just stopped thinking about it. I just like, fuck it. And I doodled something completely random, just like complete. I don't even want to try anymore. Like, and then I looked at what I just draw, and I'm like, hold on, hold on. There's something going on here. Like, I see a vision. I colored it. I like laid down very basic color, literally just 3 colors, honestly. And I'm like looking at it. I'm like, holy crap. It's perfect. It
Peak
took me a while
design.
yes. At first I was like, okay, I kind of like it, but then I kind of left it and I never drew it for a while.
Okay.
And then I started drawing it more. I started like posting like little doodles with it on my Twitter, and I changed my avatar to it. I introduced it to like my Twitter audience, and I'm like, I also changed the creature's design a little because originally creature had like red, not red, pink and blue eyes. One was pink, the other one was blue, and then I changed it to like both be green because I think that's a more better complementary color.
Yeah.
So, so at some point I just started drawing them more, and I'm like, this is it. I nailed it. At some point I stopped overthinking about it and I just drew the perfect avatar. It looks I have no idea what this is. It's very simple. It's very easy to draw. Also, as when I was drawing it, I also came up with an idea. They're also a shapeshifter, so it doesn't matter if like I drew them inconsistently at some point. They just change their shape all the time. So
That's smart.
yeah,
That's thinking in like past
yeah,
2020 vision right there. That's seeing into the future.
yeah. And also, it allows for so many like comedy things. You could just draw them however you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. And I didn't really think about it at some point. I just realized how much I like drawing them. And at some point I realized how much I was connecting to these characters. It was just like they look very simple, very funky, but they can be like at any point they can change into like whatever I want them to look like. And I'm just like, this is so perfectly encapsulates what I want to be. Just a simple, funky little creature, you know. I
I,
also like
oh, go on.
canonically they're like 6 centimeters tall. So maybe that's also me projecting at the fact that I'm way too tall for my liking. So, I am my
Okay.
dream height. I want to be able to sit on the table.
You want to be a literal gremlin. I get you.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, especially seeing obviously the character you've been able to portray yourself as throughout this entire time, the character that you are at this point, like it's perfect. It's simple. It's perfect. It gets the point
Hmm.
across. People can instantly connect with it. I just gotta say the funniest thing that I thought about is the fact that you mentioned that they don't have any pants, which leads me to think of that classic like like right minded bullshit of like, well, gender's what's in your pants. You can simply be like, I don't have pants. Checkmate.
Yeah. They're literally only like wearing that little weird belt thing on there. I can just imagine what's in your pants, and they remove their belt and there's just nothing. This is like floating.
Like it's great regardless, and I'm so glad that you've been able to really encapsulate that character and like
Hmm.
I can only imagine how much fun it's been for you to really embrace yourself, especially as the little creature, as this amazing space critter. I guess there wasn't
Sorry,
really.
I think hold on. It lagged for
Okay,
me. It like
it
stopped for a
lagged.
minute.
Okay,
Can you repeat what you just said last
I
time?
was literally saying like I can only imagine how much fun and how much freeing it must be for you to really embrace yourself
Hmm.
as this little like space creature, a little creature, space critter, or however you want to pronounce yourself. But
Uh-huh.
I can only imagine how much fun and freeing it is for you to be this character.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's also like the fact that it's like from space too. I just recently like remembered that I really like space apparently. My original like self-insert character from the MLP time, she also had like a very like starry space theme to her, and at some point I like dropped it to try and like force an identity on myself because I felt like I needed one, but wasn't really like listening to what was connecting with me. And then, I went back and I'm like, oh yeah, I like space, I like stars, I like funny little funky planets, all that stuff. So yeah, it's also like been helping me like make videos as well, because like I can just any of the insecurities I have with myself, I could just hide behind this little character, and it's fine. I don't have to show like my face. That's my face right there. That's purple, like little green-eyed looking gremlin. Yeah, face reveal already achieved. That's just what I look like in real life.
Well, there you go. There you go. Goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only imagine, like, ever since you've really, like, embraced yourself, not just with, obviously, little creature, but, like, just embrace yourself in this amazing world of the internet and art and stuff like that. Like, thinking back, like, throughout your entire journey as a whole, does it amaze you how far you've been able to come along as an artist?
Absolutely. I'm more so amazed at not how much my art like improved in like a technical sense, but more so in how my attitude managed to like change, because at some point I started to get like very uh perfectionist about like everything I was doing, and it kind of turned into like self-conscious. I was like overcritical of everything that I was doing to the point that I was forgetting to have fun, and it killed my love for art for a while. S and considering how much like I said, it's a way of living for me. It's not a way to make a living, way to live. It kind of like translated into me like hating my own life essentially. So it was great to like be able to remember that. And I also tried to have like a much more like positive opinion, like view on art. I like dropped all of my stupid overcritical like perspectives on it. Like you can have like critical like perspective on art and storytelling, but you gotta like it needs to be proportionate. You can't be cynical about it because that's just not fun. It's more positive, and it's also like I realize how much fun it is to just allow, you know, yourself and everyone around you to be cringe and be free, because it's that's the beauty of life. It's the ability to like be authentically yourself, and your authentic self is cringe. Let's all agree
Yep.
on that. Everyone is cringe.
Yep. I may be cringe, but I am free.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't need pants.
I love how
Yeah.
I love how those are two basically completely different statements, but yet they work so well together. I may be cringe, but I am free. Yeah, I don't wear pants.
Yeah. Oh crap, my cat's here.
Oh.
Hi.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of cringe, my cat's here.
Was your cat named Cringe? No, I'm joking.
No, his name is I'm always fucking hungry and I'm always fucking screaming. This time he's not screaming for some reason.
Well,
He's behaving.
that's good. That's
He's
good.
letting he's letting me work.
Well, speaking of work, or at least speaking of, or at least speaking of cringe, one of the two, whichever one you want to be. How about for this next question, we go a little above and beyond. I give you more or less the dream scenario, if I may. I come to you
Okay.
like, look, Faye, I am big shot Mr. Moneybags. We've seen that you've been able to do some incredible stuff, but we know there's a potential for more. You just need a little extra platform, a little extra push to get you to that finish line and really get you to that point. We have access to everyone and anyone in whatever industry possible, and more money than should be possible. We really should be paying for those animators, especially with the contracts coming up. So we'll focus on them in a little bit. Right now, we are focusing on you and you alone. If given this opportunity, what would be the dream Fae Space Critter project?
Oh boy. Well, it would probably be Neo Fables, honestly.
Okay, okay.
That's definitely what I want my magnum opus to be, probably. But honestly, my biggest dream is the ability to just make art for like for life. Like I don't want to make money. I want to make art. So if I had infinite money, that's just what I'm gonna be doing. I'm just gonna be drawing my funky little traumatized gay characters and all that.
I mean, like you said, it's not a way to make a living; it's a way to live. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm telling you, you need to put that on a shirt. Like I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. Like you need to like that. That is a perfect like put it on a shirt. Bam, instant money everywhere. Um,
Absolutely. I'm gonna merch shop opening up after this one.
there you go. I can give you a link to Fourth Wall so
Thanks
you can
for
make that
that push.
reality.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
Just have one of them be like an all over print of just the fucking little creature just out in space, just like.
Yeah. I'm gonna have them be like the advertisement instead of like
There you go.
getting like a model. It's just gonna be a little creature.
Perfect.
It's gonna be like photoshopped on them, like a real shirt on top of a drawing.
Yes, yes, there we go. But sadly, we gotta get down from the dream scenario. We gotta get back to reality, and I'll ask the ever so generic question: where do you hope to see yourself in, say, 5 to 10 years from now?
How many years from now?
5 to 10.
Oh my gosh, if I get to live that long,
That's a good start. That's a good start.
well, well, first of all, in my own apartment, probably.
Also a good thing to strive for.
Yeah, I see myself like sitting behind a desk in my own little like space, Fae Space Critter, if I may, just like making like a drawing of my it's probably the same thing. I want to see myself at the point where I'm like comfortably like making all of these stories and I can hear people like talking about them and I'm getting like questions about like all my characters and I'm just like vibing
Okay.
as I'm doing it. Sitting back, sipping up on some lean, just vibing.
I mean, hey, it sounds like more or less at the end of the day, you should just be comfortable. And if comfortable is all you want, who am I to argue with that? I think we all want to be comfortable at least a few years from now, you know?
That's true. That is absolutely true, yeah.
As we start to wind
It's
down, sorry, go on.
that is all we really want to do. It's what we really just want to be comfortable in life.
Yeah,
And that's the fun thing about realizing what your needs are.
exactly. And nonetheless, we all want to be comfortable in our cringe. Anyways,
Yes. Be cringe and be free.
exactly. Don't wear pants. Anyways,
Never. The pants company is lying to you. The pants is a scam to sell you more pants.
big pants
Big
has a grip on our market.
Yeah.
As we start to wind down the interview, I just have one last question I want to ask you, Faye. Obviously, you've been deeply entrenched in art for ages at this point. Like I said, from whenever you were little, it was the one thing that kind of helped you get through some of even the most, like, whatever situation you were going through. How important is
Mhm.
art, not just for you, but for the world as a whole?
I feel like we can't go on without it, honestly, in my opinion, because it's the way that we understand ourselves. Like I just said, like creature helped me like accept myself in a lot of ways and understand myself in a lot of ways. And it's also the way that we like connect with other people. We helped other people understand us and we understand them. We share our experiences through art. And I'm not just talking about like the silly little like critters that we draw, although those are also included. That is also art. If you drew it, it's art. If it meant something to you, it is art.
Yep.
Unless you like typed it in a prompt, then it's not art, it's garbage. Yes.
Like, do I need to illustrate here? Put this in your AI prompts.
Yeah. Put it in your eye prompt that you're picking up a pen and learning how to draw yourself.
There you go.
That's like the most important thing about humanity is how we like express ourselves and how we share our experiences, how we like process everything. It's all about like art preserves history, it preserves our memories, all of that stuff, like all the art in history. Like we I don't know a lot about it like off the top of my head, but it's so fascinating when you like listen to how like people like went about dealing with their lives during like tough periods in like history, like in the war times and all that stuff, like the art movement of Dadaism, for example. Like it's just in the most, it's like nonsense through art, but it's like it has a meaning, but it's also like at the same time it doesn't, and that's the point of it. And it's just like so fascinating to see that kind of stuff and to really just think about it. It's just I can't, I don't have enough words to express with myself. Art is about, it's just in its most like literal sense, art is about being human. And that's why I don't like this perspective that there is like good or bad art. I think that there is like art that doesn't meet a certain standard, but like whatever the standard is depends on what like it's going for. So there, objectively speaking, there is no such thing as good or bad art. There's just art. It's not meant to be perfect. It's just meant to be human, and we all need it. Stop fucking feeding it into AI.
I, I mean, you say that a little bit. I got a little thing behind me that says making bad art is good for you. Like more like this little thing right here.
Yes. Oh my god. Yes. Make more bad art. Make cringe. Write your Mary Sue's. Do all that stuff. Just whatever makes you happy. That's the important thing. That's one of the things I had to relearn. Like after I like had one of my big breaks down in art, is I had to relearn to make art because it makes me happy.
There we go. There we go. That is wonderfully worded, if I do say so myself. Um,
Thank you.
Like I said, Faye, that is all the questions that I have for you. I've already showered you with a whole bunch of praise, but I'm gonna shower you with a little bit more because it's my podcast. I do what I want. Um, yeah, like I said before, I first became aware of yourself when I was looking for an artist to do a thumbnail for Senior Palo. And once again, I've said many times
Hmm.
before, and I will say it again. You did a phenomenal job with that thumbnail, and I cannot thank you enough for what you did for me then. Like it really, I you really encapsulated like the art style, and you really did a great job like putting forth a fun first impression for that episode. Really getting
Thank you.
really getting to take the time to deep dive into your stuff after that, like getting to see the art you're able to produce and like the fun little stuff. Like it already made me excited for you as an artist and really wanted really inspired me to have this conversation with you. But getting the chance to really deep dive into your stuff both before this interview and during the interview, like really hearing like where you came from and what you got developing and what you want to push out there in the world. Like I was already a huge fan of your stuff, Faye, but now I'm like a major fan. Like I want to see you do all this stuff and then some. I want to see all this stuff come to fruition, whether it be in webcomic form, animated form, fucking radio broadcast, however you need to put it out there in the world. Like I want to see it because I can tell with the fun personality that you put forth for yourself, the love and passion that you have for art in general, and the creative ideas that you've had brewing for years on end at this point. I feel like anything you push at this point is going to be absolutely fun in one way or another. So just know that whenever you continue to make the incredible cringe that you put out there in the world, just know that I am enjoying the cringe alongside with you every single step of the way. Thank you for what you do. Keep up the incredible work. Please do not stop. You are doing a fantastic job, and I cannot wait for more.
Thank you. God damn it. I'm really trying not to cry right now. it, it really means a lot for me to hear that, especially like during this time where I was like really trying to break out of my shell and like start making the stuff I wanted to for years. So it means a lot because sometimes the feeling of self-doubt does creep back in, like what am I doing this for? And I can keep repeating it for myself, like it's for me. I like doing this, it's for myself, but it does help a lot to hear like that other people do want to see it too, because at the end of the day I am sharing it for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say like
It is for me, but it's I want to share it too.
absolutely. I mean, I could tell you personally, and I don't know if this might be surprising to you for not. I feel that self doubt a lot of times, and you see some of the episodes of some of the people I've been able to talk to, but there are times where like
Hmm.
I'll push out an episode and be like, God, is there anyone out there that's gonna really enjoy this? Like, is there anyone out there that's even curious about half of the stuff or
Hmm.
whatnot? But like at the end of the day, it's not just for everyone else. I'm sharing it because it's stuff that I enjoy and I want to see out there more than anything else. And
That's true.
I'm happy to know that there are other people that are hopping along, enjoying the same stuff that I get to enjoy, and really getting to learn just like I did in the moment. And that's I imagine it's a very similar situation for you. It's one of those like you're putting out there the stuff that you love, and it's incredible to see the love and support you get sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely like that. Yeah, it's like even like going back to how I mentioned like the original idea I had from MLP is just like I wanted to see a very specific story, so like I'm gonna make it, and at the end of the day, that's like what art is all about. You want to make you make the stuff that you want to see, and you want to share it with the world, because there's what I've learned is that there always will be an audience for something you make, and the most important thing is to find fulfillment in it for yourself. And yeah, there will always be someone out there who will also find the same amount, if not more amount of fulfillment, because maybe, who knows, maybe it's exactly what they needed in their life. Maybe they're
Right?
going through something.
Right? That's the one thing that I've always been like. That's always blown my mind, especially with like the podcast itself, because I always get the people. There's been a good couple episodes where I've had people tell me that that lights a fire under them, that gets them really excited and really like motivates them to like make some art right then and there. And I'm like, that's what I've been trying to do. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Like if it like at the end of the day, like I have my own like little personal goals with the podcast. Like there's certain people that I
Hmm.
want to interview. There's certain highlights. There's certain like types of content that I want to push out there at some point. But at the end of the day, if my podcast does something to where it motivates someone to really create incredible art, then I know I have made it as a creator. I know that this podcast is a successful one no matter what happens.
Absolutely. And your podcast is great, man. I love watching it. I love like putting it on while I'm drawing because I need something to listen to, and this is something I get to listen to. It's especially fun when whatever I'm listening to is fun, and this is really fun.
Well, now you get to listen back to yourself, have fun as well, right?
Ah, yes, my favorite person, me.
Well, if people want to see more about your favorite person, aka yourself, go ahead and plug your stuff for the people at home.
Oh yeah, I recently started making YouTube videos, which is what like that thing I wanted to do for 12 years.
There you go.
And I currently put out two. They're all about Spooky Month right now because that's what I'm focusing on for now. It struck a chord with me, so yeah. So I'm gonna like I want to finish making like for covering all the episodes of the series, but I also am working on other videos as well. I have two I'm currently editing, and I have like one script that I'm currently writing and one I'm drafting. I guess I could say I'm kind of busy with that. So
Mm-hmm.
there's gonna be more of that. My channel is I think is also named Fae Space Critter or it's just Space Critter. Sometimes they call it differently. I don't know. But if you see the purple thing with green eyes, that's me. You can't go wrong. That's the one. I'm currently well, probably the next video I'm working on is gonna be very silly. It's gonna be about Minecraft and existentialism.
Oh,
So
lovely.
that yes. So that's it. I also have a Twitter where I sometimes post art and sometimes I post cringe and sometimes I post cringe art. My Twitter handle is at Fae Space Critter or Space Creature, the name.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, I also have a Tumblr. I keep forgetting about that. Also Fae Space Critter on Tumblr as well. I also have a Blue Sky where I'm also Fae Space Critter, but I haven't posted anything on there. I have to remember to do that.
I mean, regardless, even then, if you miss any links or whatnot, I got you covered in the description below. I'll make sure to put all that and then some. Um,
Thanks. Thanks for having my back.
oh, of course, I got you covered, like always. Do you have any final words before we sign off?
Oh yeah, well before we sign off, I do want to like actually do a quick little face reveal. I know I mentioned how I don't want to reveal my face yet, but I
Mm-hmm.
kind of like I feel confident enough that I want to do that right now. So
Oh.
if that's okay.
And
So
the floor is yours.
all right. I apologize if this is a little cringe. I don't usually show my face because reasons.
Oh my god! I love that little creature! That is so cool! Yo!
Yeah, but that's all we're getting for now.
Oh
No feet
man.
revealed yet, sorry.
Oh man, the audio audience is gonna want to go over to the YouTube video right now just to see that incredible like definition of perfection when it comes to a face. Like my god.
Ah, yes, you know that statue of David. They actually copied that from me.
Oh wow. I didn't realize I was in the presence of greatness. I apologize.
Yeah.
with that with that, all I have left to say is for the people at home, pay your artists.
Yes, please, and stop using AI. Also,
Stop using
just pick
AI.
up a pen. Just pick up a pen, please. Like, if you're genuinely self-conscious about your skills, don't be. Your art is beautiful no matter how squiggly or bad it looks. Just express yourself authentically. I fully encourage that. It's so much better than stealing work from others.
Yes.
Especially when that someone is me. I don't like that. Stop doing that.
Yeah. Stop stealing from real artists. Pay your artists.
Yeah. Pay your artists, drink your water, buy post mod or merch.
Yes, please do. Link in the description below.
Yes. And embrace the cringe.
Embrace the cringe.
Live yeah, live free.
thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If this is your first time listening, I greatly do appreciate it. Like I said in the intro, Fae was someone that I had stumbled across because of the Senior Pillow episode, but seeing how he was able to take that kind of love for Spooky Month, among other things, and create sensational artwork that I keep gushing about over and over and over again, like, it's also kind of inspirational, and it kind of really embodies what this podcast is all about. Fae, if you've gotten up to this point, seriously, dude, like, keep up the awesome work. Like, I cannot tell you how awesome it is to not only see the art you're able to put out, but to just simply consider you a good friend more than anything else. I mean, the art you've been able to produce, whether it be the Senior Pillow episode or even the thumbnail for this episode, which, oh my god, people, like, look at it. Look at that thumbnail. Isn't it amazing? But regardless, like, back to my original point. You know, seeing how Fae Space Critter, the creature, was able to take their avid love for whatever fandom that they put themselves into, that they are currently hyperfixated on, and really produce incredible art out of that one way or another, one reason or another, it makes me love the art and animation community so much more. Because seeing how inspirations like this can spawn just incredible artwork, or really be the baseline, the foundation for so many fantastic concepts that are out there in the world. I mean, I think we need to truly, like, how should I word this? I think we sometimes underestimate just how powerful media can be sometimes. I mean, even if it's something as small as independent that you may be pushing out, you'd be surprised how many people will turn around and be like, oh, this actually inspired me, or, oh my goodness, I related so much to it. That's why we need to keep pushing forward and keep creating incredible stuff, bringing our ideas out there into the world, because there's so much potential for so many people to truly get invested and really go down an incredible art path themselves. I mean, if nothing else, my guests say really showcase that, like, inspiration can really come from anywhere. Seeing everything that he's been able to hyperfixate on and produce incredible stuff because of that, like, that's why I am always going to encourage people to go forth with whatever project they have, because you'd be surprised how many people cling on to something and truly connect with it and inspires them. That's why for every indie creator out there that's just like, or, you know, any sort of art person that's kind of hesitant on who exactly this is going to reach, you know, and is it going to impact something like, obviously, first and foremost, do it for yourself, because that's the most important person. But don't think that you're just pushing it out to the ether and no one's going to pay attention to it. There's going to be at least one person that's going to be changed because of what you put out there. And usually it's for the better. So keep showcasing that love and keep creating incredible stuff. Your amazing creation could lead to so many other incredible creations out there, and you just don't know yet. But believe me, trust me when I say you can inspire so many incredible people if you just keep pushing out that incredible art that you absolutely love. Keep creating.